Hey, what is going on, everybody? Welcome to Upkick MMA, episode 296. I am Brendan. All right, this is the Holly Holm Maribona Silva prelims. Okay, we're going to break down all the fights here, starting with Melsik Baghdasaryan versus Tucker Lutz, and then covering the rest of the main card, breaking everything down round by round. Real quick, before we get into that stuff, if you like this kind of thing, if you like fight breakdowns, you like talking about fights, you like MMA, subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out. I do 2 or 3 videos every single week breaking stuff down. All right. Let's get into these prelims. If you're looking for a specific fight breakdown, timestamps are down below. Tucker Lutz taking on Melsik Baghdasaryan. This one was frustrating for a couple of reasons. We'll get into it when we get into it, but kicks from Baghdasaryan were landing. Lutz landed 2 hard body kicks. He was going to the body. He did that pretty well throughout. Lutz drive to the fence and got the takedown at about the 240 mark. Big control time for Lutz. He didn't do anything with it, so I can still see Baghdasaryan getting the first round, but the damage was so close that I gave it to Lutz. If you look at the striking numbers here, it was 12-11 in favor of Lutz, but Baghdasaryan did seem to land the harder shots, so the damage edge might have gone to him, but it was so close that the nearly 3 minutes of control time, 2 minutes and 56 seconds for Lutz, clearly put him over the edge, in my opinion. So that's where I went first round 10-9 to Lutz. Second round here, the kicks from Baghdasaryan are so freaking hard. Baghdasaryan landing a hard left, and Lutz backs up, so he unloads on him. Lutz gets kicked low, and then the ref comes in and pauses it. And then he got kicked in the head after he got kicked low. So it was kind of a messed up situation, but accidents happen. Not accidents happen. It wasn't an accident. The referee needed to step in faster with that one. I think it was Jacob Montalvo, right? Yeah, that's who did it. Lutz got the... Baghdasaryan just looks so much smoother on the feet. He's finding all the spots, and everything he wants to do, he's landing really well. Lutz got the takedown with 34 seconds left, but it's not enough to undo the damage that he took in this round. If you look at the striking numbers here, it was 21-28 in favor of Baghdasaryan. So you look at that and you're like, oh, okay. Lutz clearly, he clearly lost this round. Or sorry, he didn't lose this round by that much. The numbers are closer than it makes it seem closer than it was. Baghdasaryan landed way more damage in this round. So I had it 19-19 going to the third. Started the round with an eye poke deep into Lutz's eye. Baghdasaryan freaking stabbed him in the eye really hard with his fingers. They're standing in this center swinging away. Both guys landing hooks. Baghdasaryan landed the better ones. Lutz presses to the cage and goes for the takedown and gets him down as Baghdasaryan keeps grabbing the fence and as he just gets warned. Baghdasaryan grabbed the fence like 2 more times in that round. One time to pull himself into the cage to stop Lutz from pressing him away from the cage, and then another time in transition. Here's the thing: is he landed the better shots here. You look at the striking numbers, 25-3. Absolutely, Baghdasaryan wins that round. There's no question about it, right? Because the referee didn't take a point, so it's not on Baghdasaryan. But here's the thing, and all 3 judges saw it the same way, right? So they all had it. They all had the first round going to Lutz and the second 2 rounds going to Baghdasaryan. Here's the thing. With that point deduction, it becomes a draw, and I believe it was warranted here for multiple reasons. 1, the amount of times that he grabbed the fence, and 2, the positions that he prevented by grabbing the fence clearly changed the outcome of this round. Maybe not for very long, but you can't assume anything. I talked about this in the last one, and I said I would go into it a little bit more here because it happened to be the featured prelim. I'll tell you this, as a fight fan, I hate it. I hate it with every ounce of my being. When I see someone grab the fence, whether I'm a fan of them or not, there's an instinct in me to be like, I hope that guy loses, or I hope that woman loses. Because they're cheating. It's the most blatant, it's the most egregious in some cases, because you're outright affecting the fight, and it's not like you grab the fence and now the other guy gets a 5-minute pause like a nut shot, right? You get an eye poke or a nut shot as long as it's caught, right? Sometimes it isn't caught, and that's just as bad. But at least with those fouls, even if there isn't a point deduction, there's at least a 5-minute break or a possibility of a 5-minute break when they're allowed to do that, or a low blow. Sorry, not a low blow. A knee to the head or a kick to the head of a grounded opponent, or backward elbows to the back of the head, things like that. You have 5 minutes to recover, 5 minutes to reset, 5 minutes to decide whether or not it's worth fighting. Dude, That guy grabs the fence and gets warned for it, and his hand slapped away multiple times. And what happens? What happens? You don't get 5 minutes to recover from that. It's hard to describe to someone who's never tried to take anybody down before. It's this excruciating full body. It's not a panic, because if you've practiced in it, like for those you out there who wrestled, you know the feeling. It's not an easy task. Even if you practice it, it's not like it's easy. You still have to work hard to do it. Your aerobic capacity, your anaerobic capacity, and your ability to do it, the efficiencies of the motion have increased. Therefore, it's easier to you. But it's not easy to take someone down, especially if they are good at stopping takedowns. And now add into that the amount of, so up front, you put in all of this time and effort into getting someone on the ground. You put in all this time and effort, like your full body, to try and pull them to change position, to get in advantageous position, knowing that if I get that person down, I'm in control. I'm on top. I can keep this guy down there. I can work my offense, and I can stop him from working his. And I'm pushing. Meanwhile, the other guy, even if he defends correctly, and the second he grabs the fence, he's all of a sudden got a huge advantage. And then he did it on the offensive side too. Like he grabbed the fence to hold himself close to pin Lutz between him and the fence. So like I said, as a fan, I hate this. I hate it. Knowing what it's like to go for a takedown and putting your just 100% effort into getting someone down on the ground, and they outright just fucking cheat. And then what am I supposed to do? Go do it again? I don't get a break. I don't, like, all that energy I just put out, I don't get that back. I don't get to recover from that. We just keep going. We just keep going. It is one of the most unfair fouls that happens. The second someone grabs the fence, it's a point deduction, or maybe we should go to a 5-minute break. Because it's absolutely fucking ridiculous. You can't do that anymore. It's changing the outcome of fights. And I fucking hate it. Now, if I was in someone's corner, or if I said this in a few videos ago, if I was advocating for a up and coming fighter, and I was giving him advice based off of all the preponderance of evidence that I have gathered by watching thousands of fights, what would I tell him? Fucking grab it. Just grab it. Who cares? What are they going to do to you? Smack your hand away and warn you 6 times? Who cares? That's better than being taken down. It's way better than being taken down. So, and it's not that they're malicious with it, or they're doing it on purpose, or they're grabbing the fence because they're a dirty fighter. It's just, sometimes it's instinctual. It doesn't mean it's okay. This is not excusing their behavior or saying it shouldn't go punished, or it shouldn't be, or it should go unpunished. It's to say that it's an instinct to reach and hold yourself up. And who knows, maybe in practice when, there's 13 people sparring at the same time, that guy, he's grabbed the fence here and there, and it becomes muscle memory for him. Well, guess what? If I'm in his corner, I'll tell him to do it again. Do it again. Do it. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. There's almost no penalty for you. Just fucking grab the fence. And look, Baghdasaryan fought an excellent fight here. Baghdasaryan won that second round, and he was on his way to win this third round. In the midst of it, though, he cheated. And on top of that, he did kick him in the nuts and poked him in the eye. So all but kicking him on the ground, kick him in the head on the ground, he got the trifecta. He went 3 for 3 with his fouls. Seriously. He kicked him in the nuts, poked him in the eyes, grabbed the fence multiple times. And he got punished 0 times about it. He got warned. At some point, there has to be a cost. And there's this whole thing where we separate the fouls. Like if you commit one foul, if you commit that same foul like two times, you might get like if you poke someone in the eye twice, you might get a point deduction. You poke them in the eye 3 times, you're probably going to get a point deduction, right? But if I poke someone in the eyes, kick them in the nuts, grab the fence, hit him behind the head. No point deduction because they're different fouls. It's fucking ridiculous. I don't get it. I really don't. I don't know what's stopping the commission from being harder on this stuff. I don't know why there isn't more talk about it on the broadcast. Sometimes they choose to, and sometimes they don't. It seems like when they're a fan or they're pushing a fighter forward, they just don't mention it. Or if the fight's not close, then they just don't mention it. But in a close fight, then they'll talk about it nonstop, or if they'll talk about how unfair it was. It all depends on who's on the broadcast team. It just, I don't get it. Let me know what you guys think. I'm out of it. Okay. Istela Nunes versus Viktoriia Dudakova. This one ended real quick. It was unfortunate. Dudakova went for the takedown. Nunes reached out and dislocated her elbow, and she was screaming. It was bad. It looked like, she just dislocated her arm, her elbow, sorry, which is probably a lot better. Actually, it's got to be a lot better than breaking something. So I hope she recovers fast. I wish her nothing but the best, and that's really unfortunate. It is. That sucks. That sucks so bad. Lingo versus Melquizael Costa. I didn't write his first name down for some reason. Anyway, so this guy, dude, he looks fucking huge for this division. Costa does. He looks like he's a big dude. I thought he had a great. He fought a great fight here. Lingo was trying to chase him down. Costa was landing the low kicks to the body. Costa hurt Lingo to the body with those kicks. Despite getting absolutely smashed to the body, Lingo just kept moving forward for somehow. But he just took so much damage in this first round. 43-14 for striking numbers in favor of Costa. Obviously a 10-9 round. You could even give it a 10-8. I just didn't give him a 10-8 because it didn't look like it was ever close to being finished. I understand the damage was more one-sided, but if you gave it a 10-8, I'm not mad at it. Left hand and a kick lands from Costa again. Somehow Lingo is just staying in his face, even though he's getting picked apart. Lingo landed a double jab, and Costa didn't like that at one point. And then not a close round though. Costa just landing whatever he wanted. 37-17. It's 20 strike differential in favor of Costa. Obviously 2018 going into the third round here. And then Lingo has landed two big right hands, but he's still taken a ton of damage in the process. Costa got the takedown at 2 minutes and 45 seconds. And it's weird that Costa grappled to the end of the fight. He was tuning it up on the feet, and I guess he just picked the safest route out. And, to each their own. I don't feel like he did anything wrong here. 2 minutes and 44 seconds of control time, 20-8 for the striking numbers. Clearly, Costa he's got it. I don't know if Lingo really pressed his cardio in this one, so we'll see if someone else can push that against him. But in this fight, he had Lingo's number. Big guy for the division. All right, Evan Elder versus Genaro Valdez. This fight was fun too. This is one of the ones where the commentary team just would not shut the fuck up. Like this one, that was bad. It was bad. Like they just would not talk about They would not shut up about how good Valdez was as he's getting picked apart. It was clearly biased, and part of it's because Dominic Cruz goes down to Tijuana and works with these guys. Fine, but then DC is just mentioning about. We'll talk about it. Big right hand from Elder to counter the leg kick. Dropped Valdez first thing in the fight. Elder landing the jab well with some hard low kicks. Valdez landing the jab pretty well as well. Missing a lot, but he's not because he's just overextending and swinging really wide on most of his shots. Elder took control of this round with a knockdown and then sustained damage. So if you look at the striking numbers here, it's really close, 25-24 in favor of Elder, but he had the knockdown in there. And yeah, Valdez landed some decent shots in the midst of it. But like I said, he was throwing a lot more, 76 total thrown from Valdez. It's just that he wasn't landing at the same kind of rate that Elder was. Elder was landing at 50%. And again, we don't have to get into this. I'm not using that accuracy as a reason why Elder won this round. He won it because of that knockdown. and the sustained damage. So he kept up with the rest of the damage in the round. Elder dropped him with the jab to start the second round. Elder was staying in his face and Valdez looking for moments, but Elder's just finding the chin with everything early. Elder using the jab and the right hand to the body, dropping Valdez again. Valdez landing the right hand and then drops Elder and follows up. Valdez landing a low kick as Elder entered, trying to slow him down. Elder kept himself out in front after both guys landing hard. Elder did more damage throughout. 2018. I thought this was an easy round to score. The commentary team made it seem like this was a hard one to score. He outstruck him. I could see that. 37-22 is the official numbers, but I'll tell you, he outstruck him for sure, and they both dropped each other, but Elder kept up the damage. And yes, Valdez dropped him after, but that doesn't mean that his was more important or more emphatic. In fact, I think Elder did more damage with his when he rocked him. Elder lands the left hand and staggers Valdez again in this third round and has him against the cage. The commentary is talking about how Valdez is still being in there and keeping it close, but Valdez is just getting battered at this point. 34-18 for the striking numbers in this last round. Valdez might have kept swinging, but he wasn't landing very much. You look at how many times he threw in that round. 80. He attempted 80 significant strikes, and he only landed 18 of them, whereas Elder threw 78 and landed 34. So much, much, much better for Elder. I didn't think it was close at all. In fact, Adelaide Bird gave it one of them a 10-8 round. If you look at the scoring, here, yeah, Evan Elder. Let's see, Derek Clearly and Genichiro Kamijo both gave the second round to Valdez. Those are bad cards, guys. Those are bad cards. They're bad. They're bad. They both knocked each other down. I thought the second round and the third round were really easy to score. I thought if you're going to give Valdez a round, like maybe you could give him the first. I didn't see him getting any of them. I'm really glad that they got this one right, because that would have been real shitty. Holy crap. Yeah, I don't know how they scored that second round for Valdez. They both dropped each other, and he wasn't any closer to finishing the fight. I can tell you that for sure. Good grief. Shit pisses me off. Azat Maksum versus Tyson Nam. This is a little slower pace. They attempted quite a bit of strikes, but it was just nobody landed anything for the first minute and a half. Maksum landed a left hand as he jabbed his way in. Nam landed a counter right hand. Maksum landing a hard left. Maksum was more active as the round is carrying on with the body kicks up the middle and using the jab and hooks. But Nam has landed a lot of low kicks, and some of them taking Maksum off his feet. I thought Maksum was still moving well on his legs, so they weren't having the greatest effect in this first round. But I thought, Nam was holding his own in there, and then Maksum grappling to the end of the round, and his activity took that one for me. So he attempted more strikes. They both landed about the same, 19-18 in favor of Nam. But I thought for sure this was Maksum's round, and it was close. This was a close round, but I gave that one to Maksum. That makes sense. Second round here, hard left hook lands from Maksum and Nam. They both landed, but Nam was wobbled a little bit. They're trading more this round. Nam finding the chin with that left hook again. So Nam actually landed more hard shots in this round as the round went on. They moved in and they would exchange like in a 50-50, but when they would move at range, Nam was landing low kicks and he was able to separate himself with that damage. Maksum was landing the jab and Nam was landing the low kick when they were at range. Nam was the one moving forward more often in this round, finding the target with the bigger headshots. Maksum landing some more jabs. That was the third round. Sorry. Nam separated himself better in this round with the low kicks and the volume. So obviously the volume went in his favor, 31-15 for significant strikes in favor of Nam, and those low kicks were really starting to add up for him. So I had him. I had it 19-19. Maksum was landing the jab, and Nam was landing the low kicks at range. Like I said, Nam was the one moving forward more often in this round and finding the target with the bigger headshots. Maksum is landing more jabs, right? So this was the third round. Sorry, I read that one ahead of time. And then DC was talking about how Maksum is determining where the fight is going, which makes no fucking sense because he has failed almost every single takedown. Look at his takedowns. 2 of 11, and he had no control time on the ground. 22 seconds. That's nothing. In fact, Nam actually had more control time in this fight. Don't worry about it. It was a non-factor. Let's just put it that way. So he attempted 11 takedowns, got 2 of them, but he didn't really do anything with them. They were just momentary takedowns. And DC's talking about how Maksum is the one determining where everything's going. Nam was the one determining where everything was going. You could tell when there was a narrative being pushed or a narrative that he had in his head, and that was Maksum is the best and the next big thing, and that's because I think he's undefeated and he's going to be like a big star and whatever. Or they're trying to push him as one. But I didn't think this last round was close at all. If you look at the striking numbers here, 31-13 in favor of Nam. I had him winning 29-28. The judges did not have it that way. All over the fucking place with this one, apparently. Saul, I don't agree with you, man. I've been giving you credit, but this is wrong. Saul and Chris are both fucked up on this one. They just did. That second round was not Maksum's. Like he landed one really good shot, but Nam landed plenty more and did more damage throughout that round. I don't think they were paying attention to the leg kicks. I don't think they were giving him credit for what he was doing. I thought the first round was competitive. Brian Pucillo. Or Pukilo, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, but I think he had this right, giving Maksum that first round. I could even see all 3 rounds going to Nam. Unlikely, but I could see that happening. I did not think Maksum won this one. This was not a good call. That second round was relatively easy to score, and for sure the last round was easy to score. So good job, Brian, out there. I don't think that second round was that close. I don't. They both landed really big shots. I don't think Maksum was anywhere near finishing that fight in that second round. He had plenty of time to work after he did that big damage, and he was the one who took more damage in the process. So I don't see how you give that round to him. Do not agree. I disagree. Alexander Munoz versus Carl Deaton. Again, not a lot of strikes landing here. So Deaton landing a left hook that was pretty nice, a lead left hook. Munoz landing a right elbow that caused Deaton to stagger and back up. Nice left hand from Munoz, backs Deaton up again. Could be a close round, but the way I saw it, Munoz was landing more damage. So if you look at here, Munoz 8. So he was on the worst end of the striking here. Deaton won the striking with 13-8, but I felt like he did more damage with his. So 10-9 in favor of Munoz on my card. Munoz was landing he landed a really nice straight left that hurt Deaton in the second round. More posturing than anything. It's kind of an awkward fight. Munoz landed a nice stiff jab and a 1-2 and then a hard body shot. Deaton was throwing more out there and he's landing the right hand pretty regularly in this round. Munoz pressing forward, and that could be the difference maker. So if you look at the striking numbers here, they're 19-18 in favor of Deaton, but I don't think he separated himself in terms of damage. Total strikes. They both threw about the same. You see what I mean? Like, it's hard. So you go to the next criteria. You go to effective grappling. There was no grappling in this round, really. They both failed on a takedown. I don't even remember those. It was really just who was moving forward, and Deaton was the one on the back foot more often than not in this round. So that's where I gave it to Munoz. So I had him up 2 rounds to 0, 2018, and then Munoz landed a hard left hand and dropped Deaton to start he started to unload in this third round. Munoz with the single leg lift and dump and back into the clinch. Deaton was able to separate and threw some shots at the end of the round, but that was not enough. So 18-5 for the striking numbers in favor of Munoz. I gave him all 3 rounds. Sal D'Amato gave that second round to Deaton. Not a bad card. That's a good card. Sal D'Amato, given that finding something in that second round that he liked more from Deaton. I said that was a close round. I mean, he might have put some more emphasis on one of the shots that Deaton landed, and that's a difference maker. It really is. Both Derek Clearly and Mike Bell had it 32. Actually, Mike Bell had 30-26. He gave that last round a 10-8 for Munoz. So good. Overall good scorecards here. Derek Clearly even got it right. So, nothing wrong there. I like, again, just because there's a different scorecard than your own doesn't mean that it's wrong, right? It has to be defensible, right? You guys can you can have a totally different scorecard. It just has to following the scoring criteria. You guys both have to be able to effectively argue for your position. And there's plenty of times where, a fight could go either way. Ashlee Evans-Smith versus Ailin Perez. Oh boy, Ashlee Evans-Smith, clear. I don't know if it's ring rust or whatever it was. She looked horrible out there. Smith tried to move in, and Perez landed a 3-shot combo right in the chin, got the takedown. Perez landed some good ground and pound, then getting her back on the ground, back down to the ground. I gave it a 10-8 for Perez. She did. Smith did absolutely nothing. Look at the striking numbers here: 36-4 in favor of Perez. 3 minutes and 30 seconds of control time. Lots of damage. 50 total strikes. That's plenty. I had easy a 10-8. Second round here, Perez got the body lock takedown again. She's right away to start the second round. They exchange a couple shots on the feet with Perez getting the better of it, and then she gets another takedown, another round for Perez. I have 2017, and then this last round here, Perez with the takedown again, right back up and back down, and this just was a real stinker to watch because Perez just was doing whatever she wanted, and she wasn't able to get the finish. So Ashlee Evans-Smith was just, in there to take a beating. 428 for the control time in favor of Perez. Maybe, it could just be ring rust, and then she needed a fight back to kind of get, because when was her last fight? See, Ashlee Evans-Smith last fight was in 2020 in November. So it's been nearly 3 years, a little over 2.5 years here. And she was on a 2-fight losing streak beforehand. She's never been a great fighter in the UFC. She's not great. So it's one of those things where, she's got a losing record in the UFC. She's 3-6? Oh my God, she's 3-6 in the UFC. How did she? Holy shit! I'm not going to speculate. I'm not interested in doing that right now. Hopefully she comes back and she can get her shit together. I just didn't think she had anything in that fight. All right, that is it. Thank you all for stopping by. If you like this kind of stuff, subscribe to the channel so you know the next video is coming out. I'd really appreciate if you did that. Like I said, I'm covering The Ultimate Fighter. Right, I'm covering The Ultimate Fighter, the season 31. I put those videos out on Wednesday so everybody can digest the previous night's episode and kind of get around to it when they want to. So if you're interested in that, go ahead and check those ones out. I got every single episode covered. I appreciate y'all for stopping by. If you're looking for the main card, main event, that's in the last video. Love y'all. Have an amazing week.